Could self-care be your superpower? Hmm. Well, let's figure this out, right? So, who would have thought that me, Dr. Tamara Beckford, an emergency medicine physician, would be here talking about self-care? Let me tell you something. Now, those of you guys, you kind of have an idea of the whole path that it takes to become a doctor, right? You have the high school, and then you go to college, and then you go to medical school, then you do your training and residency, and then it's real life, right? Now, one of the things about this whole process is that you're going, 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 going. For those of you guys who remember P. Diddy can't stop, won't stop, well, that's me, just going, going, going. And then I'm in emergency medicine. For those of you who've ever been in the ER, one thing about it, it's another process of just go, go, go. When I get on shift, there are patients that's been there, and my colleagues step off and I step off. When I'm there, I go, go, go. When I leave, there are patients that's still coming in. I step off, the next colleague steps on. The ER is 24 hours a day. It's 7 days a week. It's 365 days of the year of just nonstop. So we're going, going, going. I and my family had this wonderful vacation planned. 2019, November, we were just ready to go on vacation in March. Now, for those of you who are Golden Girls fan, picture this, March 2020, ready to go on vacation with my family, going back to my island of Jamaica, where I was born, where my husband's born, bringing the kids there for the first time, right? Oh, I tell you, I can taste a jerk chicken. I get a taste of oxtail, the ackee and saltfish, and washing it down with some cool, refreshing coconut water. Then boom, pandemic. Don't leave the country. As a matter of fact, don't leave your house. Most of you were quarantined, but those of us like me who worked in the ER, boom, had to keep going, right? And then I had to realize that if I just kept going like that, I would not make it. I need to figure out another way to do this thing. And in comes self-care, right? So I started looking around and I recognized a lot of my colleagues are getting burnt out. Why? They're going and going and going. So I decided that now that we're shut down, right? Now that people are buying their Peloton bikes because everybody's ready to work on their body from the outside in, I'm going to work on mine from the inside out. And that's how I began incorporating self-care, right? Self-care there are three pillars to this whole thing. It's aligning your mind, your body, and your spirit, right? So for me, working on my mind from the inside out was very important, right? It's just something different when you wake up and you're reading your email, reading social media, reading the text message from your family, that's just getting you very upset. And you are responding, you're not responding. And as a matter of fact, you are just reacting to everything. Everybody's getting on your nerves, they're pissing you off. That's the opposite of entering into your day. So I decide to do it the other way around. When I wake up, I am inputting positive information into my mind. I'm putting devotionals, I'm doing gratitude practice as soon as I wake up, before the phone messages, before the social media, before the email from my job asking me, where is this particular thing? I don't know. I didn't take it. Why are you asking me? You're getting me upset. So do I want to go through my day being pissed off, or do I want to go through my day knowing that I'm in charge of how my mind works, right? That's self-care. So I invest in my mind. Motivation, inspirational, quotes, stories. There's just a difference in your mind and the way you approach your day when you're reading the inspirational story of Michael Todd talking about crazy faith and how he got the keys to the transformational church in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? Your day is just different when you enter into your day after hearing the motivational stories of Lisa Nichols when she was told that she was the worst writer in her class. And then she moves from that to becoming a best-selling author of multiple books. Really? Now, when you have all of that in your mind, you are entering into your day. Your day does not enter into you. So you use that and build that foundation for your day. That's part of the self-care. So that's working on the mind. Now we know self-care is alignment of mind, body, and spirit. So we've talked about the mind. Now we're going to talk about the body, right? So self-care incorporates movement. Now you notice I did not say exercise, and I was intentional. Now some of you got your Peloton bikes, right? Your team Cody, right? Cody is talking about the 8-8-8, right? 8 ounces of water, make sure you get 8 hours of sleep every day, and you're drinking those 8 ounces of water 8 times a day, girl. Is that you, Team Cody, or are you a Team Tunde, where she's just giving all this motivation before she gets on that bike and you get that ride of your Peloton life, right? Or maybe your movement just incorporates getting your family walking around the block, right, briskly, and spending time with your family, right? Is that your movement? Movement is just so important. Why? Many of you guys were stuck on Zoom. You were stuck in Zoom meetings from the morning till night. You just went Zoom crazy. Well, how do we combat all of that? Movement, right? Movement is so important because it releases all those beautiful endorphins, those beautiful hormones. It's that runner's high that you get, but you don't even need to run. Some of you, like I said, with Team Peloton, but the other you, maybe your movement was not just organic exercising, but dancing. What about the soca people? Yes, all my West Indian passe, all my people of the soca, or maybe you were zouk, right? All my Haitian masse, were you zouking? Or were you there doing all those other dance, like for me, the dance hall? Yes, getting that heart rate up, right? Getting that sweat. All of that helps to release those beautiful hormones, endorphins. And it's so important. It's important that we know that exercise, it is so important that the American Heart Association, it recommends 150 minutes of exercise per week. 150 minutes. So you don't have to do it in the standard way, going to the gym. Maybe you're running. Maybe you're biking. Maybe you're dancing, like we said. Any way that it is, get that movement in. Release those endorphins. It's also important because it helps with another part of self-care, which is sleep. But we'll talk about that another time, right? So now we have talked about the body. We've talked the importance of movement. Now let's get to the third pillar of self-care, which is alignment of the spirit. Now, I know you're sitting there thinking, what? Spirit? What is she talking about? All right, let me tell you this. Let's get back to Sophia from the Golden Girls. Picture this. I not only work in the emergency room, but I only work at night. So I work night shift only. So one of the last shifts of my week is usually on Wednesdays. Now, if anybody has like not heard of Wednesday being Hump Day Wednesday, you have had your head in the sand. Wednesdays traditionally have been one of the most challenging days of a work week, and mine is no different. I finished working that Wednesday morning. I get my kids from school the Wednesday afternoon. But one of the most pleasant days of my week is Wednesdays because I have this thing that I look forward to. I get to meet up with like-minded people every Wednesday evening. That renews my spirit, right? So although I'm the most tired on Wednesdays, I have something to look forward to. Yes, I get to bond with people who are like-minded people who are just as crazy as I am. Now, everyone else looks at me like I'm crazy, but these people look at me like, you too? Yes, that's the alignment of spirit, right? So, do you have people who are thinking like you, who are going places like you? You know that your network is your net worth, right? So, who are you aligned with? That's the spirit portion of the self care process, right? So, on Wednesdays, stressed out. By Wednesday night, feeling fine. Why? Alignment of spirit. Now, being able to align your spirit does not mean that I'm sitting here and judging you for those who you were hanging out with. No, but you do have to ask yourself this question: how have you felt over this past month? And how have you been aligning, and who have you been aligning yourself with? Are these the people that are getting you towards where you want to be, or are they people who are getting you to the past where you did not want to be, right? No judgments. This is for you to decide on your own, because self-care is really a process. It's internal. It's a process to restore your mind, body, and spirit to get you to the next phase in your life. And that's why it's your superpower, right? So if you would like a guide to help you starting on this self-care process, I invite you to download my free self-care starter kit, and you'll see the information right at the bottom of this screen, right? Self-care is your superpower. Self-care can get you there. If self-care got me, who am an ER doc, in the middle of the pandemic, where my colleagues are looking at me and saying, why are you so zen? And I say to them, because I practice what I preach, right? Aligning my mind, my body, and my spirit. Now remember, self-care is one of the most important assets that you can provide for yourself. And therefore, you can be there for others, right? You are your most important assets. And therefore, on this journey, you need to decide, are you going to tap into your superpower? Now, you might be wondering, well, what's next for her? Stay tuned.
Happy Juneteenth, Dr. Tamara. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Hey, everyone. Thank you guys for joining in on the chat. Yes. How you
Yeah,
doing? Happy Juneteenth, y'all.
doing good. Self-care is definitely a favorite topic in the Blaze community. I would say that's something we challenge ourselves with all the time to go even beyond what we've seen our mothers do. So it's
Mm-hmm.
always a necessary reminder before we part ways to do the Lord's work. So I'm going to give people a chance to speak to you, ask questions. So you all definitely hold a hand, right, or hit the hand at the bottom of the screen to give Dr. Tamara her flowers, to ask questions, whatever you want to say, right? You have this opportunity. And while you are queuing the hands up, I just want to reiterate that Dr. Tamara definitely does have a free gift for you. So definitely go to blazevirtualsummit.com/freebies to grab
Mm-hmm.
it. blazevirtualsummit.com/freebies. No catches, literally gifting you from the goodness of her heart. So we appreciate
Absolutely.
you for that as well, Dr. Tamara. All
Yes.
right. So let me pull up. First, we have Demetra, and then we'll have Tierra come up.
Hello, thank you for your presentation and being here. I have two quick questions.
Mm-hmm.
First one is I missed the first pillar of self-care. I got second, being movement, and third, alignment of spirit.
Mm-hmm.
My second question is, how do you balance between only doing surface level self-care acts instead of like deeper work with yourself?
Okay. So I'll answer your first question, and then I'll need a little bit of reiteration as to what your second question means. So the first pillar is mind, aligning. So you're aligning your mind, your body, and your spirit. So aligning your mind, which is basically how is it that you prepare yourself for the day? What are you inputting into your mind? Ooh, I'm losing my voice today. What are you inputting into your mind? So I gave some pillars for you to do, especially at the beginning of your day. And I intentionally did not say in the morning because, as I mentioned, I work nights. So my day starts in the afternoon. So I align my mind by inputting positive information. Just so I was actually listening to Dr. Cars, and you see when she talks about even decreasing the amount of news that she reads, because it's not going to consistently align and have you working towards whatever it is that you're doing, which is self-care or goals. So I get up, and the first thing that I do is that I read a devotion, and then I read something positive, or I listen to a positive podcast. I input positive information that sets the tone for my day. When I do that, the day is set. Like, you are rarely going to catch me off key at that point. So whatever it is that you try to do to me, it bounces off because I've already set that foundation for my mind. And your mind is the most powerful, one of your most powerful tools, right? So once my mind is set, I respond to the actions that occurs within my day versus reacting to it, right? So that's the first pillar. And then you said, how do you balance yourself only repeatedly doing surface self-care acts? Do you mind elaborating on that question? Giving me an example of what you mean, Demetra?
Yes. So, I guess more so, how do you, what are more examples of aligning with spirit and moving away from just like bubble baths and face
Oh,
masks?
okay. Okay. Good, good, good. All righty. Perfect. Love, love, love. Love this question even more that you've done. So, with alignment of spirit, it really is an internal looking at where you are and who you want to be around, and where you are and where you want to be. Now, alignment of spirit, which I think is very important. I'll give you a great example. Now, I know during the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of people who were introverts, they're like, yes, woo, introverts unite when we're told, hey, stay in the house, can't go anywhere, you're on shutdown, right? However, within approximately a month, some introverts were going stir crazy. Why? Because human beings are social beings, right? So we still need to be around people. Now, the important aspect is, who do you want to be around? So your spirit and those who propel you forward, who helps you to release that positive hormones that we've talked about. We have two hormones that actually gets released when we're around people. One is the bonding hormone, which is oxytocin. And you guys have probably heard about that. That bonds like mom to child, that bonding hormone that gets released. That's the same hormone that gets released when you're around people. And that's why you get that connection when you're just like, oh, that love connection with somebody, or I just like being around that person. And then there's also that dopamine, which is the reward hormone, when you anticipate being around people who you like. Now, those hormones are not indiscriminate. So you will bond with the wrong people if you just keep being around the wrong people, right? And you will anticipate being around those people and still release your dopamine if you do that. So now you have to intentionally decide who aligns my spirit to where I want to be. And that's the alignment of spirit. Like, how is it that I feel when I'm around these people? Part one. And am I going in the direction where I want to go? And I look forward to being around those people because of all three. I feel good. I'm going in the direction that I want to go, and I now have peace. So I hope that answers your question, Demetra.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Demetra. And next, we're going to kick it over to Tierra Davis.
Hi, thank you so much, Dr. Tamara. You started me off super hungry. Now I'm looking for my nearest jerk restaurant so I can get some oxtails, curry goat, or something. So thank you so very much for that. My initial question is centered around like the stigma of that the less, well, at least it's to me, with everyone that I'm around, like the less self-care you partake in is like the stronger you are. So like people really they like pedestal this whole thing of like just being on go mode, go mode, go mode. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this for myself. I don't need to do this. I'm super strong. So how can we like debunk that within our community and show the strength in caring for ourselves?
Absolutely. That is such a powerful question. And I'm glad that you've stated that, because one of the things within our community is that we pride ourselves. Busy is like, if it actually, no matter what portion of life you're in, busy is like the word to use, right? I cannot do that because I'm just too busy. I really would help you out, but boy, I'm just busy, you know? And the busyness is abused as a pride. And even taking on excess work is considered like another source of pride. And even within our own community, in our jobs, and so on, taking care of ourselves, unfortunately, has been placed lower on the totem pole. Now, it is important for us to highlight that within, and it probably takes small steps, because we've had people within our families who this is just how they are, and you'll always hear that rhetoric, back in my days, blah 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 blah. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that it's correct, right? It's important for us to highlight how important taking a break is for us, because it propels you further. One of the biggest, and I didn't talk about, I just highlighted about sleep as being another portion of self-care. Entrepreneurs, that's one of the things that we at times even have an issue with, which is taking a break to just rest. And I think the best analogy for this was one of my colleagues, when we're talking about music and about the tango, like fast, fast, slow. So there are periods in our lives where we're moving fast, 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 and then there are periods that we're moving slow. Right? There are periods we're going to be moving fast, and there are periods we're going to be moving slow, just kind of like dancing. So once we understand and acknowledge that we will have slow periods in our lives, but we must have slow periods in our lives in order to regroup, in order for us to restore and to rejuvenate. And so once we do all those three R's, we propel ourselves even further. So taking time to rest, taking time to slow down, taking time to do self-care it's a pillar that's important, that helps us to propel ourselves even further. Continuously going, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's not going to get us anywhere. Think of a motor that just keeps going. Doesn't the motor need to some time? You have a car and the motor is just going consistently. Boom, after a while, what? It breaks down. It needs repair. It needs to slow down. Think about our computers. Our computers are on. What it is, hey, I'm too hot, shut it down, right? We all need periods where we have to slow down in order for us to get further in life. That's just the fact. And I'd say that the way to get through to those in our communities who can't understand it is probably using some of those little experiences, and also using some of those analogies, like even just like a motor, just like a car, at times we need to slow down. I hope that helps, Tiara.
That did it. I know we got a schedule to keep, so I ain't gonna say too much more, but that did it. That did it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tiara. Tiara, why did I go back to Tiara? I'm sorry, friend. So Dr. Tamara, thank you so much for these gems you've dropped not only during your talk, but hereafter. I think your clinical perspective adds so much needed diversity to this discussion, right? It's given us a whole lot to do homework on as well. So love and light to you. Happy Juneteenth. I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day, but we appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Of course. All right, ladies. So we're going to keep things going. This is the final day of the Blaze Virtual Summit. We will not be here tomorrow. Okay. This platform will not be here in this way tomorrow. You will have access to the replays for all 3 months. So I do want you to soak all of this in. I know, Chandra, but it's over tomorrow. So 2 very powerful communal things are about to happen, right? One is about to be a Sunday. I'm about to cuss though, y'all. So okay, I ain't gonna cuss. Okay, so one talk is coming up. It's a panel discussion from the Dope AF Coalition, and the topic is Black women are dope AF. Black women are dope AF. Okay, and then right after that, we're gonna welcome the very first male to ever grace the stage of the Blaze Virtual Summit in a fireside chat called Caping Hard for Black Women. And this is necessary now more than ever, because as we take up space in the world as leaders, we cannot have those next to us being quiet and not coming in the ring with us, okay? So I want y'all to tap into those, right? Those are coming back to back, and I'll see y'all on the other side. Peace.